Not sure how to fund your van build? We've got some options for you. I'm Kimberly.
And I'm Corey. Welcome to our channel.
If you want to save time and find build money by identifying low to no interest options, then you're in the right place. We'll be sharing traditional and not so traditional sources of financing for your van and subsequent van build, as well as our struggle to fund our van build. Be sure to watch all the way to the end for the complete list of funding sources so you can avoid finding yourself without funding like we did.
Trust us, you don't want to miss out on any of the van life tips or DIYs for van conversions, so make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and turn on the notifications to get alerts when we drop a new video.
Having recently gone through the van shopping process, we know how exciting and stressful it can be, especially if you don't have a lot of cash available to fund your van purchase and build out. We know the struggles you're facing trying to find the funding for the initial van purchase, as well as the money to buy all of the components you will need to complete your build and get on the road.
We will share traditional funding sources, funding frustrations, getting denied for funding, and some often overlooked sources of funding we discovered so you're able to identify your price range and shop for a van with confidence.
To ensure you have the funding necessary to buy a van, you will need to determine how much you're willing to spend, or in our case, how much you have to spend. Our initial expectation was to buy a built-out camper van, and we were expecting to pay no more than
$35,000.
That delusional dream we will cover in another video.
Deciding whether to pay cash or locate financing is less of a decision and more of a reality. Vans, especially those that are built out, are expensive. Your initial outlay can easily be over 20 grand for just the vehicle. Most people do not have 20,000 in cash that they are able or willing to use for a van purchase, so often purchases are delayed while you save up or locate financing.
The first and most simplest route will be cash, checking, savings, etc. And as Forrest Gump would say, that's all there is to say about that. Other sources of cash can be gifts. So if you have family members that have been wanting to provide you with a gift, or for your birthday, for holidays, you can ask for money. Bonds or CDs are another option. Often people forget that they have these types of investments, that the cash is readily accessible. Life insurance policies, if you have a whole life policy and you've built up some money into that, you can actually take that money out of your whole life policy. It will impact the payout at the end, but that cash is in there and it's yours to use. And I know that you can get that within a couple of days if you're looking to have that put right into your bank account. Retirement accounts, certain types of retirement accounts you are able to take money out of and not have to worry about, you'll have to pay some penalties, interest penalties, but you don't have to worry about putting the money back in. Another option is selling assets. A lot of people overlook what they actually have and what they use and don't use. So if you have vehicles that you're not going to be using, any heirlooms, electronics that you're not using, household items, you can take those to the pawn shop. You can resell smaller items. There's a lot of social media outlets that allow you to sell your clothing and furniture, etc. through those as well. You can sell gift cards. So if you have gift cards that people have given you, you can sell those for cash. Some businesses will actually provide a payroll advance. Be careful with that though, because obviously any money that you get in advance, if you can't work out a payment plan with that, you might have to have that taken out all in your next check. So make sure that your finances are ready to do that.
We're curious to know what's your biggest concern with financing your van build. Ours was finding money to get a pre-build. Make sure you comment below.
We really want to know what people are concerned about. So loans are the most common, I would say, way that people fund their van build and purchase. And those are through financial institutions such as banks, credit unions, or even online lenders. Most people will look at a vehicle loan, and that will work well for an empty van. However, if you have a van that's built out, that can be somewhat challenging because lenders are looking at the blue book value of a vehicle, and that's just the vehicle. It's not any other things that were put inside of the vehicle. So if the vehicle's been put out and someone spends thousands of dollars and hours, they're going to ask for more money than what the book value of the vehicle is. So that can be a little bit of a challenge. You can approach that by looking at it as a recreational vehicle loan, so an RV. However, some of the lending institutions will want to see the vehicle before they will loan money for it, because they want to put a value on that. You know, something that's built out like Winnebago, or what's another RV? Like a regular RV. Jayco. Things like that. Yeah. Those, they already know the value of those because they've done loans for them, but a personal build out or a newer van company build out, they really just don't know how much that's going to be. So they're going to want to see it or speak to the builder to find out the actual value of it. So aside from vehicle loans, recreational vehicle loans, you can also get a personal loan through a financial institution. Some banks will loan out money without any
Collateral.
Thank you, collateral. Damn, I knew I couldn't come up with damage. Another avenue is if you have a home, you can borrow against your home. So you can get either a home equity loan or a home equity line of credit. So depending on how much equity you have built up into your home, you may be able to use that. Family, you can always borrow money from family. Be careful with that. Life insurance, again, the same policy that you can take cash out of. If you don't want to impact that payout upon death, you can borrow the money. They'll have an identified interest rate that you can pay back the loan in a time span. So again, retirement accounts, you can borrow money out of those and pay those back. And some employers actually offer loans to their employees, low interest loans. So you can look into that as well. Things to consider when you're borrowing money are the interest rate. So you want to make sure that you pay attention to that, so you're not like paying an exorbitant amount on what you're borrowing. And how long is the payback period? Because oftentimes for like a vehicle, you get a shorter payback period than you do for a recreational vehicle. Home equity loan can be, you can adjust those. So it kind of will make that opportunity to pay that money back a little bit easier.
Some not so common ways to raise funds for your van. You can rent out a space in your home, such as a room, garage, or some storage space. You can get a part-time job, especially if they're paying cash. Cut down on your expenses by shopping around for a better deal on or canceling services such as subscriptions, streaming services, cell phone plans, insurance policies, and your spending.
Yeah, you can reduce your spending if you're really serious about it.
Your HSA, you can reimburse yourself for your legitimate medical expenses.
Actually, consider that, because you can reimburse yourself for transportation to and from your medical appointments and others. If you're buying any over-the-counter medication, some of that can actually, you can pull that out of your HSA and reimburse yourself for that, or use your HSA to pay for those.
Take your employer up on those offers to reimburse for gym memberships, etc. If you have a vacation timeshare, you could sell weeks or sell the whole thing. And if you're over 65, consider using silver sneakers to cover your gym membership.
So what happened to our financing? Well, as we stated in our previous video, we were casually looking for a camper van, primarily one that had been built out, and we were hoping to pay around $35,000. We found one around 2 hours away that wasn't $35,000, it was $55,000. But it had just about everything that we wanted, but it didn't have a wet bath. However, the build was such that we could easily have added that in the future, so we went to go look at it. We hadn't really started looking for financing at this point. So we started looking for finances because we hadn't started that process, and here's what happened. We aren't married. We both have been working at our employers for a long time. So we have good work history as well as good credit. We both have good credit. We felt that between the two of us that we would be able to scrounge up about half in cash and get a loan to cover the rest. And you know what they say, the best laid plans.
Both of us reached out to our financial institutions, which both happen to be local credit unions that we are customers with and have had previous loans through. Both of us currently have vehicle loans, although we don't owe a lot on them. We have good amount of equity in the house and minimal credit card debt. The interest rates presented were higher than expected.
Way higher than expected.
The interest for an RV loan was going to be up to 18%. I felt that because I had one vehicle loan already with my local credit union, they were going to reject my application or charge an excessively high interest rate for another vehicle loan. Plus, they would probably want to see the van to assess its value. What a hassle.
So, and what happened with me was, as soon as we decided that we wanted to purchase this particular build out, I contacted my credit union, which I had spoken to earlier in the year because I purchased a used vehicle earlier in the year and got a loan through them, and felt that actually I had a pretty good chance of getting financing for it. I didn't think I was going to be able, we weren't going to be able to get a car loan per se because it was a build out and it was a Dodge,
Trollmaster.
right? But the old kind, it was a Mercedes.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So anyway, the value on that vehicle itself, because it was, what year was that? 2008? Okay. So it was a 2008. It had about 100 and some thousand. I know, a lot of information. Anyway, long story short, the Blue Book value for it was nowhere near $55,000. So we knew we weren't going to be able to get a vehicle loan. We could have gotten a vehicle loan, but we wouldn't have been able to get the full amount. I was looking to kind of poke around about what an RV loan would cost, and I was getting a similar interest rate as he was. And then I thought about a home equity loan for my home because I have quite a bit of equity built into my home. And I actually thought that that was going to be a solution. However, my debt to income ratio was not, they were not comfortable with that, as well as I had previously requested a loan, which I have, which is very interesting because they aren't the individuals that, or the company that owns my loan now, but I've had a loan on this house for 25 years and has never missed a payment, never been late. So anyway, long story short, I got denied for basically any kind of loan, let alone a home equity loan. I just asked though for a home equity loan, not a home equity line of credit, but I don't know that that would have been any better of an option. Shortly before we got this news, Corey got a message.
And by then he already sold the van for someone that offered him cash.
Right, we're not really sure how much they paid, but we're assuming it was pretty close to what he was asking. So we had to reconsider what we were going to do to finance our dream of having a camper van, because we realized that we didn't have the money to buy a built one. And the price that he was asking was a very, very fair price. Mm-hmm. We found that what we had thought we were going to get for $35,000 wasn't anywhere near what we wanted to get for that. And we'd be lucky to get a really good van for that. So we went back to the drawing board and decided that we were going to pool what cash that we had, we were comfortable pulling out and putting together to buy a van to build out ourselves. So that's where we're at right now. You'll have to stay tuned to hear what happened next.
For even more tips and tricks for your camper van conversion build, follow us on our Instagram.
If you think this video can help others identifying funding sources for their van build, please hit the like and subscribe button. Thanks for watching. Bye.